Yo, what's up guys, it's Ormsky here, and today I've got something a tiny bit different for you. I'm actually doing some FIFA 16 news. Now, about an hour ago, this was posted at 12:03. It is now, like, 1:15. But an hour ago, basically, FIFA 16, there's been some new news. There has been some news released on the FIFA 16 career mode. So today, what I'm just going to do is kind of just go through this so you guys know exactly what's being added to FIFA 16 career mode. I am really excited about some of the additions in which are coming to the brand new game. Hopefully it will be much improved and we won't see a lot of EA bullshit like we usually do. So yes, so today they've called it career mode innovations, as you guys can see, but this is a huge thing. Pre-season tournaments, as you can see, you've got the Asian Elite, Champions Trophy and the Invitational Cup as well. So each of these have a different star rating. Now what I personally don't know is whether, so if you're starting off in League 2, League 1, Championship even, I don't believe that your teams are going to be added into this. So if you're starting a career mode with, say, Burnley, who have just recently got relegated, or QPR, you might not be invited to any of these tournaments because your team isn't prestigious enough. But what I do like about this is the transfer budget. So if you win, right, you actually win prize money, and this prize money goes towards your transfer budget, which I rather like. I don't know how realistic the figures are going to be. For example, if you're winning the Champions Cup, they're giving you 10 million euros, pounds. I think that's a pound sign. It might be a euro sign. Let's just quickly zoom into that. Where is it? That looks like a euro sign. It looks like a euro sign. So yes, you get 10 million euros. Now, if you're playing in one of these cups, you're not going to get 10 million pounds. You're probably only going to get a couple of million, probably about 3 or 4. And that is because the most of the money in real life comes from TV budgets and things like that. So yes, you're going to get an increased amount to your transfer budget. This is something that I like. However, this is something I like even more. So, player training. Now, if you have an older player and you're trying to have, like, say, Thiago Silva, and you're trying to train him into a striker, that's not going to happen. You can increase his finishing attributes and things like that, but you cannot make him a striker. However, if you do have someone younger, maybe you get Sule, maybe you get Jedbadge from my Newcastle Career Mode series, for example. Now, well, if I were to increase certain attributes about them, maybe I think, you know what, I've got Sule, he's 6'3", but maybe he's not as good in the air as I want him to be. So, well, what you can do is you can actually go through some player training and actually increase his defending stats and things like that. Something that I very much like. So let me just quickly read this. A footballer trains between matches to improve as a player. In FIFA 16, managers will be able to train their squad to increase player attributes and boost player development. Now, I don't know whether this means that you can go past your potential as a player. So say, for example, if you have a player that can go to an 86, I don't believe this training will allow him to go to an 87 or an 88. Maybe it will, but what I'm thinking more is this is how you now unlock the maximum potential. It's by training these players. So, each week you can select up to 5 squad players to train from a number of training drills, each focused on developing specific attributes. The aim here is to allow for greater growth in youth squad's players and to create more value to the squad. Focus on your star players to keep a strong starting 11, develop youth players to increase transfer values and build your funds, or to transform your club into the next Ajax or Barcelona, a breeding ground for future stars of world football. So what this means is, if you guys want to go through, I forgot what they call, where you basically just do a Youth Academy career mode, you can now actually do this, and you can do this successfully by getting your youth players, bringing them in and training them so that they can be a part of your first team. This is something I absolutely love. Managers nowadays, Football Manager, no matter which game you're playing, you always want to train your youth so that they can unlock their maximum potential. This is something which I am going to absolutely love for FIFA 16. I'm going to love being able to train players. I think, and I do pretty much believe, this is going to get really repetitive. However, as you can see from this picture right here, it says beat your man, El Rondo, one-on-one defending, and a dribble course. Now, they have different ratings. So this one's, to beat your man and El Rondo are gold, where you have one-on-one defending is a silver, and dribble course? Dribble course? It's dribble course, I can't even read. Dribble course is actually a bronze. So I think this I don't think this is a representation of the player. I think this is the style of training that you have. As we know, I don't think player coaches are going to be in this game, and I'm pretty much sure they haven't said anything about it. So that means I'm pretty sure player coaches are not in this game. Well, that being the case, I believe that the more you actually train these players, the better the training actually becomes. So this is why I believe that you're going to have beat your man El Rondo, one-on-one defending and dribble course. You can simulate, you can train the next player, or you can simulate all of them. But I do believe that this is a representation of how good the training is for that certain individual and how many times they've actually done it. So moving on, we've got story this season. FIFA 16 will now fully immerse you in the story of your club's season. Our commentators will remark on key storylines, including notable player on the team performances, big player debuts, transfer rumours, in-game graphics commentary, blah 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 blah. Well, this is something that I believe is already in the game. I like this players to watch, but usually we end up skipping all the start of this anyway, and no one really gets to see this. This is a nice little improvement, maybe for the start of FIFA, not something we'll be using too much towards the end of it. However, they already make little comments on transfers and who your standout players are and who gets injured and so forth and so forth. So this isn't something that's really that big, but it's nice to see that they're trying to go more into depth to try and immerse you into the game that tiny bit more. It is something that I quite like, but other changes to career mode. Now, these are a couple of really cool things. We're coming towards the end of this now, and then I'll give you my overall feedback. So, we have many improvements to the coming career mode, blah blah blah. Sign free agents outside of the transfer window. This is something I like, however I don't like at the same time. Now, in real life, you can sign free players outside of the transfer window. However, there is actually a limit as to when you can sign them. So I believe in around November time usually is, if you're in the Championship, if you're in the Premiership, that's actually a cut-off date. But there is a cut-off date for when you can sign free players. I think this will go over towards December and into January throughout the whole season. Yes, it's great that you can do it. It would have been nice to have a time cap. They haven't mentioned anything about it, so we'll see if we do get that. But it is nice to actually see that you can now sign free agents in and outside of the transfer window. If you get a little injury to maybe a smaller squad and you have a bit of transfer funds, you can then replace that player with someone else. So scout reports. After scouting a player, reports are available to you now for an entire calendar year before expiring versus 3 months in FIFA 15. So yes, if you did scout someone, they would expire in 3 months on FIFA 15. However, this now lasts the whole of the season. And then if you want someone else, or it's a calendar year, so I assume if you scout someone in December, they will stick to it till the following December in the next season. This is something I do quite like. I don't know how great it's going to be, but moving on, transfer budget. Transfer budgets are now more realistically tailored to the club you're using in career mode. Also, a percentage of the remaining budget from the previous season will be carried over to the next, and will vary based on where your club finishes in regard to the season goals. Well, to be fair, every single team that you play on as a career mode will pretty much surpass their targets, unless you're a world-class player and you're playing on legendary. Then you're going to get pretty much a more of a realistic example of where your team will finish. However, the improved the transfer budget, or carrying over your transfer budget, I do quite like. It's only going to be a small percentage, but do you know what? I reckon the little thing in FIFA 16 will still remain from FIFA 15, which is where if you have, say, £4 million in your transfer budget, you can move that over to your wages. You then offer a player which you're looking to sell. You offer that player the full amount of wages that you can possibly offer. You then sell that player in the following season and you get your transfer budget back from the previous season. So this looks like it's going to still be in the game. However, if you don't do that or you forget to do it, then some of your transfer budget will be carried over. That's something I like, because I have had seasons where I finished with £20 million in my transfer budget and I just basically lose like 5/6 of it or something stupid. But yes, so loans. Loans now have increased from 3 to 6 months, and there is also now an option to issue a 2-year loan. Hopefully 3-month loans are still in the game. This is something I do want to keep. I do like sending players out on a 3-month loan. So, there is now an option for a 2-year loan as well. Hopefully you can't loan a player to a Premier League side for 2 years, because that isn't actually a rule in the Premier League. You can only loan a player to another Premier League club for 12 months. You can then reinitiate the loan and then send them out for another 12 months. So it's a 12-month loan followed by another 12 months. It's not a 2-year loan in total. However, if you do send a player out to Italy from the UK or from the Premier League, you can then arrange that player to be on... That's a fly, I've just killed it. You can actually arrange to send the player out on a 2-season long loan. Friendly subs, now during a friendly you have a limited amount of substitutions. Yeah, that's great. I'm not too fussed about that whatsoever. More realistic transfers. While the transfer window is open, we have tuned the number of high-profile moves by big players to better match the number of changes that typically happen in the real world. So this basically means the same teams are going to be signing the exact same players. What player moves to which club is just going to be slightly more realistic, but looking at that, the coding seems, what there seems to be telling me is that if Vermaelen, say for example, then moves to, I don't know, from Barcelona to Lazio, that will pretty much happen every single season. It might not be Lazio, but it will be someone similar. So yes, I'm not too fussed about that whatsoever. We also have improved player transfer values. We have addressed values of players to better match real world transfer market. I don't know how that works. I'm going to be completely honest with you, is that just at the start of a career mode? What happens when you're 3 or 4 seasons into it and then you have a youth player who is, I don't know, becoming an 80? Is he going to be rated the same as another 80 rated player? How does that work? How do you base what that player is going to be valued on? He could be an 80 rated striker, but he might not score goals. So where does that transfer value come from? I'm not too sure. That's something that we're going to have a look at in FIFA 16 itself. It would have been nice if they gave us a tiny bit more information about it. And then they just say, and much more. By saying and much more, they're basically telling you that's about it. We've made slight improvements to the current game and not more. But the big things that I'm looking forward to, pre-season tournaments and player training. Player training has to be the biggest one. As a manager, I like being a manager. When I play Football Manager 15, I like actually training the players myself and sending them out on their individual coaching courses, etc., etc., to improve the attributes that I want them to improve, so that I can play the style of football that I want. This is something that I do love with this game. But guys, this is pretty much coming to the end of the video now. So do you like the changes in which they've added to FIFA 16? And what did you want to really see in the FIFA 16 game mode? I wanted to see player retraining, where if I have a left mid and he has better attributes towards a striker role, that I could then teach him to play strike, or maybe as a backup striker if I needed him to. So this is something that I personally wanted in the game and I'm not getting, but what did you guys want? Well, I've got an idea. Why don't you let me know in the comments below? So I've been Ormsky, guys. If you have enjoyed this video, then please do drop it with a like, and please do subscribe if you haven't already. So again, guys, I've been Ormsky, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.